Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Sports Dad here with you. I really appreciate you being here with me. Thank you for all the comments, the views, the likes, and the subscriptions to the channel. I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy what you see after watching the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. It really helps the videos. It helps everything about it. So I really appreciate it. So I really wanted to come at you guys today with a real quick video about top 15 professional wrestlers of all times. I got to say, this was a very, very hard list to do. I've always been a huge wrestling fan ever since I was a little kid. I'm not just big into NFL, MLB, sports in general. I really love professional wrestling, and I still do to this day. I watch as much as I can. I really love what they're doing with Bray Wyatt the Fiend. He's probably my favorite wrestler right now. I've always loved him in the Wyatt family, and I love Kevin Owens. He's probably my second favorite guy right now. I love his whole personality and everything that he's got going on. I also love the women's division, what they got going on right now with girls like Bayley and Sasha Banks, and I love what Alexa Bliss is doing with Bray Wyatt the Fiend. But I just wanted to get started with this top 15 list. Like I said, it was extremely hard. I left a lot of great wrestlers off this list. It was so hard to decide on what I wanted to do. So coming in at number 15, I have Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was not before he came into professional wrestling, was an Olympic champion, a great collegiate wrestler, a great amateur wrestler all around, probably one of the greatest ever. But when he came into professional wrestling, his charisma, his promos, his in-ring ability, I remember him shooting milk at Stone Cold and Vince McMahon in the ring. Kurt Angle is probably one of my all-time favorites to watch. He still was wrestling just a couple years ago, and he was way up there in age. He went to TNA for a while and did really well there. Kurt Angle is just one of the all-time greats, and I had to have him in my 15. Going on, excuse me, number 14, I have Mick Foley. Mick Foley, also known as Cactus Jack and Dude Love, but mostly known as Mankind. Mick Foley is the epitome of hardcore. If you think wrestling, I think hardcore wrestling. Tables, ladders, chairs, barbed wire, thumbtacks, all that stuff. Mick Foley is amazing, and he was during the Monday Night Wars, when he won the championship, he was one of the main reasons WWE got over on WCW for a while. Mick Foley is his way he talks, everything about him. I just love Mick Foley. I had to have him in my top 15, so I have him in number 14. So number 13, I have Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. Now, Roddy Piper was a little bit before my time. I do remember him watching him in the 90s a little bit, but that was in the later part of his career. I just always remember the attitude and the charisma and his in-ring ability. All very good. And everybody, if you ever look at any other lists, he's always right up there. Roddy Piper has definitely got to be in my top 15. He's definitely a staple of wrestling in general. So I have him in number 13. Number 12, I have the icon Sting. Sting is an icon. The face paint, him coming down from the rafters in WCW with the baseball bat, fighting the NWO. Sting is just amazing. He's got a good in-ring ability. His submission moves were amazing. Sting with his in-ring ability to talk. Sting was definitely good on the mic. Sting was he's definitely a staple in wrestling. So I have to have Sting in there. So Sting comes in at number 12. Number 11, I have Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation, his tag team with the British Bulldog and all them. Bret Hart was the mission master. Bret Hart, he's definitely a staple of wrestling, and Bret Hart is definitely amazing. So I have to have him in my top 15. So I come him in number 11. Number 10, going to the top 10 list, I have Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was a staple of the business for a very long time. His finishing move, Sweet Chin Music. What kid didn't do Sweet Chin Music when they were wrestling with their friends or their brother or sister or whatnot? Shawn Michaels was good in the ring. Shawn Michaels was good on the mic. In my opinion, probably one of the best entrance songs of all time. Shawn Michaels was definitely amazing, and he's definitely a top 10 all-time, everyday wrestler in the WWE and wrestling in general. Shawn Michaels is amazing, so I definitely have him coming in at number 10. Number 9, I have Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant was definitely a little bit before me. Never really watched Andre the Giant. I know you got guys like The Big Show where they're comparable in size, but Andre Giant is probably definitely the biggest guy to ever come into in size into the WWE. He definitely was a giant. He's a staple. I always remember the videos of Hulk Hogan slamming him, which really launched wrestling. Andre the Giant definitely has to be in my top 10. He's a staple of the business. He's when you talk about wrestling, you have to mention Andre the Giant. So I have him coming in at number 9. Number 8 is one of my all-time favorite guys, Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah, Macho Man. Macho Man, I remember doing his Slim Jim commercials, which were always funny. Macho Man was great in the ring. I believe he's still, to this day, the only wrestler to have held the Intercontinental title and the World title at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, let me know. But Macho Man is definitely got probably the best personality, character-wise, as far as wrestling goes ever. I just absolutely love his character. I've always loved Macho Man. So I have him in number 8. Number 7, I have Ric Flair. Woo! Ric Flair. The woos are infamous forever in WWE. Wrestling in general, him in WCW, him in anywhere else as he's been. Ric Flair has always been amazing. Him in the Four Horsemen, him with his long robes and the music and his submission ability, in ring. Ric Flair, personality. He's high flying, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding. Ric Flair is amazing. God who love Ric Flair. So I have him in number 7. Number 6, some people might rate him a little lower, but for me, I got him a lot higher. I love Chris Jericho. I think what he's doing in AEW is amazing. What he did in WWE was amazing. What he did in WCW was amazing. Maybe up there with The Rock. You'd have to argue the two, but I think The Rock and Chris Jericho are right there with greatest mic skills ever. Chris Jericho's charisma and personality is amazing, and his in-ring ability was amazing. So Chris Jericho is definitely right up there for me. So I have him at number 6. Now, number 5, for me, I wanted to rate him lower, but I understand what he was and what he was to the business, and I was never a huge fan of him. I got number 5 is John Cena. John Cena, I never loved his character when I was watching wrestling. I didn't like him all that much. I just didn't like it. But he was a staple for the business for at least a good 15 years. He was the biggest name they had. He was still pretty good on the mic, pretty good in the ring. He had all the attributes you need for a top all-time wrestler. But I just personally never loved his character. But I understand who he is. I understand what he was to the business. And he wouldn't have been, I believe he's a 14-time world champion, maybe 15. Not sure off the top of my head, but he wouldn't have been that if he wasn't what he was to the business. So I have John Cena at number 5, and he definitely deserves it. So John Cena comes in at number 5. Number 4, I have The Rock. Who doesn't love The Rock? The Rock he's, like I said with the Chris Jericho comments, The Rock is probably arguably the greatest mic speaker in WWE history. His promos were amazing. I remember, you go on and watch videos of him and Michael Cole and what he used to do to him. It was hilarious. You have to watch videos of The Rock. Some of the things he said, his in-ring ability, just the ability to sit in the ring. He sang songs and just to come up with things off the top of his head. The Rock, definitely top 5. Great, one of the greatest ever. The Rock, he definitely, it was so hard. I wanted to rate him a little bit higher, but these last three guys I have to have above him. But The Rock, I definitely have him in number 4. The Rock is amazing. So number 4, The Rock. Number 3, I have The Undertaker, the Dead Man. When you think of wrestling, same thing with like Andre the Giant. You think of The Undertaker. The Undertaker has been the dark side of the WWE forever. I loved him back in the 90s with the Ministry of Darkness. I thought that was one of the greatest things he ever did. He also did kind of his motorcycle riding phase with The Undertaker, and just him with Paul Bearer, where he's just carrying the urn and going, "Ooh, Undertaker." I just love that. I loved his battle with Yokozuna, his battles with Mankind. I just thought he was great. And he did his last match a few months back. For what I remember, the Undertaker will always be one of the greatest. He will always be one of my favorite. Definitely deserves to be in the top 5, and I have him coming in number 3. Number 2, I have Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, his theme song was amazing. Hulk Hogan's in-ring ability was amazing. Not as good as some other wrestlers, but Hulk Hogan, the whole persona of Hulk Hogan, what he meant to the wrestling business, his in-ring talking when he was with the NWO, I just thought that was, when he was Hollywood Hogan, I thought that was amazing. Probably one of him, battles between the NWO and the Wolfpack were probably one of my greatest of all time. I really loved watching those. Hulk Hogan, for me, it's definitely got to be in there. He, just like Cena, he was a staple for a very, very long time, and he was wrestling. So, and he straight through the 80s and into the 90s, until the guy above him basically took over wrestling for the period of time that he was in there. But Hulk Hogan, for me, definitely comes in at number 2. Hulk Hogan was amazing. Number 1, I have Stone Cold Steve Austin. Steve Austin basically saved wrestling back in the 90s. Austin, his feuds with Vince McMahon and the corporation, and just how he kicked ass and drank beer, and the way his in-ring mic ability was right up there with Chris Jericho and The Rock. He was very good on the mic. Stone Cold was good in the ring. It's a shame that injuries cut his career short, but Stone Cold for me is definitely number 1 all day long, every day. Stone Cold is definitely the top of my list. So definitely want to make Stone Cold number 1. So there's my list for top professional wrestlers of all time. So if you enjoyed the video, give me a like and a subscribe. I always ask normally at the beginning of the video what you're drinking. I'm going to be cracking open some Blue Moon here in a little bit. Really enjoy it. One of my favorite beers. So let me know what you're drinking. If you're drinking something a little bit later, drinking something now, leave it in the comments section. Let me know what you're drinking. But I want to close with a little bit of sad news. Saturday night on December the 26th, Jon Huber, better known as Mr. Bodie and Lee in AEW, and Luke Harper in the WWE, who is infamous with the Wyatt family and his tag team partner Rowan, passed away from a non-COVID lung issue at the age 41. He leaves behind his wife and 2 kids. I just wanted to wish his family all the best, and I always loved him in the Wyatt family. I thought he was a great wrestler. Never really watched him much in AEW, but I definitely watched him a lot in WWE, and he was definitely one of my favorite people in the Wyatt family, and I was really sad when the WWE let him go, because I really liked him. I thought for a big man, he was very agile and a great in-ring ability. Thought he could have been if they would have kept him, I think he could have been really good for a very long time. But just a very sad story about him passing away, and just thoughts and prayers out to his family. So in closing, if you like it, give me a like and subscribe. Later in the week, next week, I'll probably be putting out my NFL playoff predictions after week 17, leading up all the way through the division, championship rounds, and Super Bowl. And we'll see who the champion's going to be. So that should be good. Give me likes, subscribe, leave comments. Let me know what you're drinking. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.